rear differential carrier bushing experiment number 1 was to use a bushing press. Now, if there was enough room between the welded bracket that's on the subframe for the sway bar, to get this tool in there, I would have been able to remove it completely with this press. This is kind of how I set it up. This would receive the bearing as I'm pushing it out. Actually, it was this way. And then this would push it. But there isn't enough room between that sway bar bracket and the end of this on the driver's side to get this piece in there. So what I did was I used this, just this, and I was able to, after soaking this thing with PV Blaster, I was able to push it about whatever this distance is until it bottomed out in here. It's about 3/8 of an inch, but I did get the first crack on it to get it moving. And then I was a little stuck because I was wondering where I was going to go from there, because basically this tool, this great beefy tool, is useless for this job. So manufactured a little tool of my own using the receiver from this tool, and a piece of 1/2 inch rod, 12 inches long. I put 2 nuts on this end, on the driver's side end, followed by 2 1/2 inch washers, and then 2 1/4 inch washers. And I took a galvanized floor flange for
gas pipe,
and you can see this is a 1/2 inch floor flange. This was a 1/2 inch floor flange, but I needed to grind it down to the diameter of the bushing. I could have fit this in here, but this is the driver that came with this set, but it just wasn't enough. It kept slipping off of the edge, the very thin edge of this bushing housing. So this enabled me to have more of a surface to push with. And the way I set it up was...
Well, you actually just marked, like you said, you marked that and ground it down with the grinding wheel.
Did one of these. I put it on here and I traced it to the size of this and then just ground it down to that line.
Yep.
I did have to touch it up a little bit, because when I, got it in the bushing housing, this just, I had some edges that weren't clearing, so I did have to fuss with it a little bit. And then I inserted it this way from the driver's side in through the bushing, and then on the other side of the housing I put this receiver, another floor flange, and then this set of washers again, and a bolt. And I just cranked down kept cranking down until it popped about 10 times. It would tighten up real tight, pop, and then the nut would get a little loose, and then I tighten it up again and keep popping until I eventually
came right out.
Pushed the bushing right out.
Cool.
And it worked really well. The rod didn't bend. You know, the nut didn't bind up on me. It was pretty successful. But again, I think it helped that I had soaked it 2 times, one time overnight with PB Blaster. And you could see on the inside of the bushing housing, it's still wet with the PB Blaster. I mean, it drew it. I just sprayed it around the edges, both sides, and it drew it right in.
Cool. Well, let's go look at where this goes.
Okay, here we are with the differential removed, and I've got the half shafts hanging on wire. This heat shield covers this. That has to be removed. The sway bar I have hanging here, it's removed. But there probably is a way to work this out of here, but with the exhaust here, it was pretty difficult, so I just moved it out of the way. And this is the bearing housing coming down from the subframe. So I took this rig here I have, inserted it from above the exhaust in through the bushing. Okay, and then I took my receiver. If you don't have one of these bushing driver presses kits, I was thinking that you could probably use either galvanized pipe or even PVC. This is 3 inches.
Or you could just borrow a set from your local auto parts store.
Yep.
Unfortunately, you can't borrow the BMW tool.
Yeah. Oh, actually.
And after seeing the BMW tool, in a lot of ways, this is actually better.
Yeah, because the BMW tool is actually like a jaw puller, and this isn't a very. There isn't much of a lip here to grab on, so I'm sure that's tricky to use.
There you go.
Yep. I just. Oh shit! It's pulling it through. Okay. You get the idea.
Yep.
Oh, I didn't. Damn. Yeah. No, I did. It just pulled it right through.
Yep, which is what it would do in the case if the bushing was there.
Right.
And then pressing the bushing back in is easy because you can just use the bushing press to just press it back into place.
Yep.
Because you have clearance on this side.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.